something, right? One of the first things that's one of the first things that will okay, so I just realized that like this hasn't been live um from beginning. I had no idea. Um yeah, so that means that we'll have to start everything afresh. This today we're going to be answering one major question. What is the first step to take when you have a new startup idea? Right. Now, my name is Innocent. I run a marketing agency, so I work with a lot of early stage startups at the very beginning. I'm startup founders at the very beginning to kind of navigate how you're thinking about the idea versus how the market is thinking about the idea and grab the first few customers. So this is going to be drawing a lot on my own personal experience and the experiences of people who, of course, know a lot more, who's been who've been in this at a much larger scale. All right. So let's back to the question: what are the first steps to take when you have a new startup idea? Um, First, let's talk about like ideas. How important is the idea? Like why you fixated on ideas, right? That's the thing that people tell you. Why you fixated on ideas? Because an idea is only as good as execution. True. But a dumb idea, it doesn't matter what the execution is. Um, Actually, YC admitted that during the program they have a bunch of people pivots while like within the YC program itself, because by the time they put in some sort of lenses, they realize this idea is not good enough. It's not going to scale. It doesn't have enough markets, like whatever it is. So you want to know that if your idea is worth it. Um, there is nobody on earth that can tell you this is going to work or this is not going to work. The best we can do is to look back in history and say, based off what we've seen, this has worked, this has worked. But ultimately, you decide what you want to pursue, right? And there's been a lot of times when people have surprised everyone else. So that might be you. Okay, so let's get right into it. The first thing I let me see if I can share my screen. I think I can share my screen here. I'll just let me try to share my screen. And just because I think this might be better. Uh no, I don't think I can figure that out, fortunately. Um yeah, so the first thing you want to do is weigh how much of a problem it is to you. Now, there's two different kind of problems. There are problems that affect you personally, and there are problems that affect somebody else. Let's start this conversation first with those that affect you personally, right? How much of a problem is it to you? Um, I'm really struggling trying to like get my screen to share here, and hopefully, sometime within this conversation, I will have it. I will have it. Yes, sometime I will have it working. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I think we're close. Yep. Yep. Okay, yeah, so it's processing, so it's gonna work. That's what it says. Um Tell me we do have something. Yes, it is here. Okay, so go back to the first slide. This way how much of a problem it is to you. Now here's why I like this as the start of this problem. Paul Graham is someone I respect a lot. He's been in this field for a longest of time. Started his first company in 1995. I have no idea what I was doing at that point. But he's like a founder of YC and the managing partner. So yeah. I do take what he says seriously, and you should. He wrote a great essay in 2012 on this, and if you haven't, so I screenshot both the starting paragraph and the title of the essay so that you can go check it out. But you absolutely should check it out. It's really it's awesome. It's just awesome. And he says that the way to get startup ideas is not to try to think of startup ideas, right? It's to look for problems, preferably problems you yourself have. Right? The very best startup ideas tend to have three things in common. There's something the founders themselves worth, that they themselves can build, and that few others realize are worth doing. Right. So the great startups all began this way. Now that's what he says. This is there's a lot to unpack here. But I think that people have spoken about this concepts conceptually a lot. So let's even look deeper at what exactly it means. I'll use some examples that everyone is like familiar with. WhatsApp Jam was literally in was just browsing Apple Store, right? And then thought, wait, what if you could make an app that's give people contact, people know they're available to chat, right? And that's how he built WhatsApp. Even literally sent a message and he was like, holy shit, I shouldn't have sent that picture, right? And that's how Snapchat was. And this is the reason I'm just skimping through this is because we kind of know this, right? We kind of know this. DoorDash is another example, right? And this is the example I'm going to pause everything on and see why I'm making this example. We have oh yeah, it's a problem that you yourself have encountered. Sometimes you can encounter somebody close to you can encounter a problem in a way that gives you an insight into the problem, which I think is the biggest thing here. The reason why people say make it a problem that you yourself have encountered is not because of originality or anything like that. It's just because you would have a lot of insights, and those insights at the beginning is very important because then you know how to move, then you know how to pivot. It gives you a lot of things, right? So yes, it is very important to have that insight, but sometimes just being close to the persons or the people who have that particular who who have that problem gives you that kind of advantage too, right? And this is why I think engineers have an advantage. If you don't have your own problem right now, just go build other people's products. I'll say this 100%. Like, go build other people's products. DoorDash is pretty large now, um, and people like DoorDash for DoorDash, but they didn't realize that all the founders they didn't set out to build DoorDash. They came together to help somebody else build an app for one small business, and then they deployed the app, gave the keys to the client, and the lady was like, "Thank you very much. Actually, I just realized I had nobody to help deliver the order that I'm getting through the app." And they were like, "Oh shit, that's it." But DoorDash is pretty far for people in Africa, I think. Let's use examples that you know of. Again, remember I'm advocating for you as an engineer, go build other people's products and keep an eye on the ground. How much do you know about PiggyVest when it started? If you don't know much, that's fine. Let's use a PiggyVest example, right? PiggyVest start with an interesting story. All right. Somebody tweeted that she had saved up to 365,000 at the end of that year by saving 8,000 naira daily. I remember the tweets. It was 2016. Everybody was like, whoa, he did it. Da, 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 da. And it brought up a lot of people thinking badly about, like, feeling bad about themselves not following through with their New Year resolutions, right? And that was where the team had idea. Literally, Odun mentioned that Joshua just screenshots it and sends to group chats, and they launch PGVest. That's the story, What is not obvious from this story is the fact that this team were already working on different other things. They were already building other things, right? So what I like about you already building other things, it keeps you sharp. It keeps you upgrading yourself. It keeps you mentally ready for when the opportunity comes. And I'll talk about a mental readiness sometime not so far from now. But the team could take the idea, make it into Piggy Vest. I think it was Piggy Bank at that time. I think it changed to Piggy Vest sometime later on. Make it into Piggy Van and run with it because they were already building. They were already in the tree tracks. They were already moving. That's an advantage we have. You know who else was already building? Paystack. I don't know how much you know about the story, but Shola was literally working as a consultant, right? He was building software as a consultant for a Nigerian bank. And then he saw that, wait, he can charge his card directly from the software, right? Why is everybody going through multiple loops to do that? And that was it. And he went on to say, wait, this could help Nigerian merchants accept a variety of cards. Again, at the time, Stripe wasn't exactly huge in Africa. Merchants in Africa really struggled with getting paid. And that was it. But again, opportunity meeting preparation. Shola was prepared, the opportunity presented itself, and he took it. Go build for other people if you don't have your ideas yet. Flutterwave, same story. GB literally was working for Standard Bank, and he had this question, like, why not? Why passengers finding, why partners finding it difficult to pay? The overarching the overarching similarity here is the fact that these people didn't have they were not the merchants directly, but they were close enough to the problem that they could get that insight from the merchants. So as an engineer, go into something else. Go do, like, don't just work on like live reasons. Go work for other people's problems, and you might see something that's, just gives you a sense of what's possible or what should be possible, right? And I think this is something that we struggle with as engineers. It's at what point do you pivot? How do you even know when you get the idea, right? How do you know when you get the idea that yes, this idea is going to be it? It's hard. How do you know that this idea is going to be the main thing? And for that, I would again defer to Paul Graham. Actually, let me stop. I wish I could just share. I wish I could share his entire, like, Graham's entire essay with you, because that essay is very rich. It's really rich. And so Paul Graham says, you can predict. I'm just gonna read, like, it says, so if you can't predict whether there's a path out of an idea, how do you choose between ideas? Like, the truth is disappointing but interesting. If you're the right sort of person, you have the right sort of hunches. If you're the leading edge of a field that you're doing, then you're more likely to be right. Now, let me expand on this a bit. We're talking about working for someone to keep yourself sharp enough for when your idea hits you. The truth is, if you're the leading researcher in AI, you will get to have hunches that will be vague to a lot of people, especially when you're then working for something else or doing something else in a different industry. It's easy for you to connect the dots, say, hey, here's how this could be applied here, here's how this could be applied here. And I think Robert Pissing says, like, if you want to know how to paint a perfect painting, it's easy. Make yourself perfect and then go paint. That's it. If you want to learn to take the perfect photograph, it's easy. Make yourself a very like because I'm a perfect photographer and I go take pictures. That's it. Right. So if you want to build the perfect idea, great. Make yourself awesome, make yourself perfect, and go do it. So it's hard to gauge correctly when you're not the experts, right? And I think is at this point I'd like to share what Elon Musk himself had said. I don't know how people to bring this in. Um, Hold on, I'm hoping I'm able to play this. So Elon Musk.
Idea generation. And I tend to think of things from a sort of physics standpoint, like from a first principle standpoint, what would be the best way to accomplish something, and then pursue that. And that's also a good way to determine if something's far from its optimum. Like on rockets, for example, you could reason by analogy and say the rocket's going to cost a certain amount because that's what prior rockets have cost. Or you can say, well, what is a rocket made of? What are the material constituents? What do they weigh? What's the cost per unit mass? And that sets the limit asymptotically for what a rocket can be. So if you can figure out some creative way to rearrange those elements into a rocket shape, then you can achieve a much better outcome. That's the first principles approach. And I think also just combining ideas from different industries is really helpful for innovation. So what have people discovered in one industry, and can that be applied to other industries? That's, I think, also a great source of ideas. But you usually just struggle on a solution and try a bunch of things. Most of them don't work, and occasionally one does.
Boom. Al, to be honest, this is it. This is it. Um, Again, I'll just go back to go over what he just said, right? So that it's let's see how much it makes sense. How much it makes sense. You we're talking about you go be the experts in any field at all, and then when the right moment come, when the right hunch come, it would hit you. And then the question then is, so how would you know? Like, so when you'll be able to gauge your hunches better, but even when it hits you, how would you be able to like evaluate it better? And I deferred to Elon Musk's approach because I have used this same approach a lot of times, and it's the best thing ever because no matter the kind of problem you want to solve in the world, somebody has done something around that sphere. It might not be that directly. It might be that directly, or it might be something around that sphere. And our instinct is usually to go check what they've done, go look at what they've done, go see it from that standpoint. And Elon Musk is saying that analogies might not be the most innovative way to go through the problem solution sphere. It's the readily available to say, hey, I want to build a rockets startup, in his case, SpaceX. Why don't I just go to see what other rockets, how much rockets costs right now, and what other rockets people are doing, and then see what I can do differently. What Elon is saying is that I need to just take a step back, take a very giant step back, and say, wait, what comprises a rockets, right? Um, what are the materials? What alloys? What chemicals? What needs to burn, right? What all those things? What exactly makes a rocket? Break it down to what he calls first principles or the building blocks, and then take it together and then say, if that's the case, what labor cost is, what is associated to this? What is the material cost versus what's the cost at the market right now? And then it gives you a sense of what your margin is, where you can play around, how disruptive you can really be in the space. So if you take any problem at all, if you really any problem at all, you'll see if I already have a problem. Yeah, if you take any problem at all and just say, um, what's the let's break this down to, you know what? Let's just use an example. You want to run a delivery service, right? There, what comes to mind is for you to just, start delivering, or rather get some bikes and then start delivering, right? Get some bikes, put some people on the bike, start delivering, try to get customers. But if you're working from first principles, it makes you take a step back to say, wait, what is the real problem? People want to get delivered. Yes, but why? Oh, but why? Um, why is the why are people trying to use bikes? Right? Why are people not using scooters? Why are people not using bicycles? And that is what Glovo did in Nigeria and absolutely dominated the markets at a time when everyone was using bikes. They just came in and used bicycles. And it was ridiculous at first because, like, Nigeria had very poor bicycle. They had no bicycle network early. There was no tracks specific for bicycles. It was not very safe riding bicycles in major cities, and people just did not look at it. And Global came and they did, and they gave them so resounding a margin that they were able to pay drivers better. They were able to run better operations. They were able to keep enough money in the bank and put as much as possible into innovation that differentiated them from the rest of the people. So whatever problem that you're trying to solve, think about it not in terms of like what anyone else is doing in the space. It's great to know what competitors are doing, but also what exactly, why are you trying to do this? Why is they have a problem? Why is the problem a problem? Why is the problem still a problem, right? Why is the solution like this? Why is the existing solution this way? Why? Just like a bunch of whys until you get to the atom of whys, right? The smallest indivisible why. Right? And then you just build it back up from there. That's what Elon is suggesting. And I've done this quite a bunch of times, and I really do like that approach. Yeah, so there's that. You do that, right? You become an expert in a certain field, in a certain sphere, and then that's supposed to help. There's something I'm gonna point out, and it's called Schlepp's blindness. Hold on, I hope I'm able to bring something. And okay, I can say it's called again. Paul calls it Schlepp's blindness. What it means is that because you're the expert, you know how difficult things really are, right? And because of that, you make a more informed decision to not even try it, right? I'll give you an example with a friend. Let me try to bring this up front because it would sound strange. Oh no, I don't have it. Oh, I can't bring it. Okay, no, that's fine. I want to read a quote from, I don't know if you know Real Fruits. So Real Fruits started by Affion Williams, an amazing entrepreneur. She was able to get this down from South Africa and make it work in Nigeria, where you have dried fruits. So you have dried fruits in small sachets. And again, very phenomenal woman. What's I want to read an excerpt from an interview that she said about starting Real Fruits. She says, it's funny because it gives room to what we're saying right now. All right. Give me 1 second. Da, 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 da. Give me 1 second. I'm still trying to find it. Okay. Maybe I'm not finding it. Oh, yeah, yeah. So she says, living in South Africa, where dried fruits were popular. So, like, Afyong saw like an untapped market in Nigeria, and then this is how it works. She said, I figured I could be the first to bring it to Nigeria and make it big, right? If I had done more research, I might have shelved the idea, but I was convinced Nigerians were open to new tastes. I believed all I needed to was to create awareness and demand. If I know what I've done now, I would never have done it. And those were her words, right? Like she saw the problem, sounded great, and of course, right now it's successful. 9 years later, 9 years later, she raised her first Series A because it was very tough. And someone asks Afyong, would you do this again? She's like, absolutely not. If she'd known it was going to be this difficult, she would not have done it. And I think that's the danger of being the experts. And the experts, you know that this thing is, so you're kind of closed-minded, unconsciously, just by your knowledge, right? So that's why you see a lot of like revolutionary startups being started by Nigerians, just because, sorry, being started by young people because they don't even know how difficult it is or it was going to be. Right? So sometimes you can get in your own way, and I think the best way to the best solution to it is to, I don't know, try to be more open-minded, I guess. Anyway, that's on that one. I think the last question I would like to like go into in this particular question, and remember the person we're answering is what are the like first steps to take when you have like that new idea, you're trying to validate the idea, you're trying to like look deeper into your idea if it's like worth it. Um you're trying to no, you're trying to get the right idea to even start doing anything you can. Like this is the first step. So trying to get that light bulb moment first. This is it. And one one question I get a lot on this topic is when you're the subject experts, like you've made yourself, for instance, you're a senior engineer, right? And but you're trying to innovate for a hospital. And I had a conversation just yesterday about with somebody who wants to build a hospital ERP. Okay, not yesterday, it was like last week. Hospital ERP, and he was an engineer. I asked, "Have you ever worked in a hospital?" He's like, "No, he's never worked in a hospital." So I was like, "Okay, if you've never worked in a hospital, then why are you doing that?" And the answer wasn't super clear. All right. And I think that's the problem with that is you don't have enough insight into the problem. So solution here is to go go get a job at a hospital if it's more important, or go bring go ask somebody in the hospital to join you. That's it. Go try to convince. If you can't find anybody in the hospital to convince to even solve that problem, then is it that big a problem in the first place? Right? Yeah. So yeah, that's the first thing. Like you have to have. I'm summarizing everything I've said so far. It's that you have to you have to have enough insight into your idea. You have to be at a position where you have enough insight into your idea in the first place. You have to be in position. If you're not there, it's going to be pretty hard to do anything else, right? And just as like the next time we come, we're going to be talking about, or I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking about like how you can determine the real actual things you can determine things that you can do to know if there's a real market for your idea, the specific things. So this was just like, oh, that light bulb moment. How do you go from zero to the light bulb moment? And know that your light bulb is an actual bulb, right? Not back currents or flukes. So just reiterating, you want to be at a place where you have a lot of insights, whether it's a problem you have personally or it's a problem that someone close to you, someone you have access to has, so that you can really drill them, really study them to get that. If there's nobody close to you, go partner with somebody, go bring somebody on that has a problem. All right. I think we'll leave it at this for now. And then next time we'll come talk about like how determine if there's a real market for your idea. All right. Until then, thank you. Bye.